Okay, I think we're live on YouTube.
Yeah, we're live.
Let me just open it up in another window so I can monitor the comments if there are any. Um, I guess we'll probably because I remember on LinkedIn, Georgia and the other person from Gravity said that like to join, but I don't think we should wait longer. Like it's already 5 minutes past. Okay, so we just continue kick off, and Georgia and others can always follow up with the recording. You okay with that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, cool. Um, so we just the intro for anyone for the context, especially for people watching the recording. So it's a meeting focused on AsyncAPI marketing, which is very general term. And the purpose of this meeting is to actually go into details and set up some plan how to do whatever with marketing this year. And on the call we have, except of me, there's also Tuli, who is a community manager at AsyncAPI, and we also have Maya, who works. One of the things that Maya does at AsyncAPI, she's a designer maintainer at the AsyncAPI website. But Maya also does a lot of cool other things here. Okay, so to kick off, especially like for people that are not yet are not very familiar with the subject of marketing at AsyncAPI, what it actually means. In the end, it's AsyncAPI is just a open source project. So what do we mean? What's the point of the meeting? So I wrote down yesterday kind of summary of the things that we already do here. We tried to do. Um, so I'll just go through, give quick info about these things, because I think that if we really want to start working on the topic, everybody has to have the same knowledge about everything we do. And maybe that's actually one of the, as a result of what I say, maybe some docs contributor can write a doc for the community, basically. Because I guess it's a knowledge that everybody would like to have. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen because I'm rumbling, and not showing anything. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have any fancy slides. What for? I just have bullet points, and we'll just share more comments. So basically, this meeting is a result of this discussion. So this discussion is a result of a budget discussion we had at the beginning of 2024 for AsyncAPI initiative, where the TSC accepted the idea that we will spend $25,000 on marketing, but without specifying what that really means. That's up to us to define what that means. Now, there are people had like several weeks to share opinion in the discussion. So I went through all the comments, and basically my take is I think everybody agree that we don't want to have any paid ads or whatever to use this budget for. We want 25K budget to use to hire someone dedicated to work on marketing. The best, especially because of buzz factor. I'm recently a promoter of buzz factor. So basically buzz factor is like you don't want to be hit by a bus, because if you're going to be hit by a bus and you're the only person that did something at the company, then company is screwed and have problems. So
Why do I feel like Why do I feel like every time you mention this, it has some content? It's so weird. I know you are a perfect advocate, but
Yeah, so just to make it clear, I don't know any real life situation that there was someone in open source that was doing something that nobody else knew how to do, and they got hit by a bus. I don't know this real life example, but yeah, in general, we should always make sure that it's not just about bus. It's like holidays, different breaks, family, whatever, or a burnout. Somebody basically gets tired, especially in open source, of doing something. So we need to have. There should be an easy way to help out and jump in and replace that person for forever or for a given period of time. So so that's basically what's hidden behind the bus factor that I'm always mentioning. So I think we can also summarize from the discussion we had that we'd like to have a working group, a dedicated list of people basically that feel about marketing and would like to help. Of course, the hired person would be the lead in the topic, but everything should be done in a working group. And yeah, no paid ads. And yeah, something that maybe is not clear for everyone, but yeah, we should first start with defining objectives, like what we basically want to achieve with this marketing, who you're targeting, etc. But before, so that's the why we meet today. And it took me just 5 minutes to introduce, and I still have a lot of other things to mention. But yeah, so current situation, current state of marketing, right? Or basically how we communicate with the community, because marketing is basically how to make this communication nicer and better. So at the moment, like in the past, it was me. Now it's Tuli that basically runs social media alone. There's no one else really actively helping in that subject, except of probably Ace sometimes doing some graphics for 2D, but I don't even know the details. But yeah, basically access to social media, active, proactive, let's say, is done by Tuli. The communication channels that we have here is, so we, of course, effectively use Slack because we can keep the history of all the conversations because we have this free standard plan from thanks to Slack support. We also have blog from time to time. We can use it also to communicate things about whatever we do at AsyncAPI. We also have this feature that we tried, and it works pretty well, that we have a promotional banners, headers on asyncapi.com, right? So we can, for example, have, and we used it in the past for conferences usually. So to promote CFP or to promote that we have tickets available. So we can put, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh yeah, cool. Because I don't. Give me a sec. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, wow. Okay, back.
yes.
No. Okay,
What
I think I'm back.
Yeah, everything is working.
Yeah, because my screens, they just like turned off and turned on again. So we basically have this functionality and it's accepted by the community. Nobody ever complained that from time to time, we just put a banner on the website to attract some information to the visitors of AsyncAPI. We also have a newsletter that once a month is sent by Tuli. Anybody can contribute to the content of the newsletter, but we also have like the newsletter is using a mailing list that we also use for some other communication information. Like we use this mailing list to send to the mailing list, for example, information whenever there's a technical steering committee voting in place. So we have dedicated mailing list for that. We also have a dedicated mailing list for people that would like to know on Monday what other community meetings are planned for a coming week. So that's what we have, and I bet that not many people know how to subscribe, and it's not documented anywhere. Live streams. We also do live streams and meetings like this one to communicate things. We also have Spotify. I'm not sure how many people know that. So we have Spotify. We'll also have an automation in place that we can convert any meeting, any recording that from YouTube to a Spotify podcast. For example, this AsyncAPI Marketing in 2024 could be, and actually, Tuli, probably we should do it once we complete the meeting. We can push it out to Spotify. So whoever wants to follow up with the meeting, they don't have to look at our faces, and they can just listen to our voice at Spotify. Now, from social media perspective, we have X, former Twitter. We have official account on LinkedIn, and we also have our official account on Mastodon. But as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, Tuli, but you post to all these three through one application, right? You have access to some application.
Yes, I'm using Buffer to like post on all 3 different platforms.
Okay, perfect. So we basically have a Buffer account, the free one, and we use it to make it easier to post. And you can also schedule, right? Through Buffer.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Now, we also have another communication channel, which is ambassadors. So I call it organic marketing, kind of. So, organic marketing, that it's not coming from any ads or whatever campaigns, but it's like coming from the community. So we have a group of ambassadors, AsyncAPI ambassadors, that we have Barbanio that takes care of these ambassadors and connects with them. So whenever we have something to communicate, like, hey, please share, we have CFP or whatever, we can reach out to ambassadors so they can amplify the message. Kind of, yeah. And conferences, of course. Sometimes we, like last year, we had 4 conferences, and we also used that channel to communicate things like in Paris or in other locations where we had this presentation about the state of the AsyncAPI community, where we were talking about the successes and issues. And as a result, we got contacted by some community members that would like to collaborate thanks to this communication channel directly to people at the conference. Now, what else do we have here? So that's it if it comes to the communication channels. What else you should know, what we tried already. So we tried, and I mean, I didn't check latest numbers, but when I was checking it in the past, it performed really well. So something that some people call contextual marketing, and also I think I call it targeted marketing, but I'm not marketing expert, so I'm not sure what's the proper form, proper term. But basically, the idea is that you want to inform people about AsyncAPI at the moment when they need it. You know what I mean? So like basically you don't just put banners on the streets like, hey, AsyncAPI can solve EDA, because majority of people watching the ad, they don't care about EDA, they don't know what EDA is, etc. That's why probably paid advertisement on social media doesn't work. And it's because like you want to learn about AsyncAPI when you learn about event-driven architectures. So for example, here, developer Mozilla.org, it's maintained by the community. So I was able to edit this website as a community. I was able to open a pull request and ask them, hey, in the WebSocket API website, web page, you have a list of resources recommended to the reader. So let's put AsyncAPI on the list because that's one of the resources that WebSocket API providers should know, that they should be aware of. And that converts in a lot of clicks and actually visits to AsyncAPI. The same with Stack Overflow. What I tried in the past was that I was browsing through Stack Overflow, checking for, like some keywords, and checking if there are some questions about like, hey, how I document WebSocket or how I document Kafka, whatever, or what I what are the other stuff we do with Async API? So I was going there and providing answer related to Async API, like that one of the solutions you can use is Async API. And this, again, converted into visits and basically educating people, like targeting people that actually need to know what is solution to their problem. But this was success. You should be aware that we also tried with Wikipedia to have a official article about Async API, but also have a Async API mentioned in some different topics, like whenever people read about event-driven architectures, etc. But yeah, Wikipedia is it's a strange community. It was we had actually really bad experience, removal of content, and really nasty comments. So we need someone experienced really dealing with it. But yeah, we already tried it, and we know it's much better than paid marketing. We also have X automation. What it means. So we basically have an instruction that allows basically any community member to submit a tweet. Not many people, unfortunately, use it. And I think it's mainly because it's easier to ask someone to write a tweet than open up a request with a tweet content. But this tweet automation, what works currently is that, for example, every time we release any single package in Async API, we put a tweet like this. So we put an information that a new release was of a given package. We also put information whenever a new meeting is scheduled. So we have an automation in place that whenever we schedule a new meeting, new live stream, it also gets published to X like this. And we have some reoccurring tweets. So basically we can schedule that, for example, once every weekend, we post some tweet. So for example, for really long on X, every weekend, we post a tweet about that Async API sounds like. Now, that's what is technically. Now, does it make sense to do it? That's something to evaluate, and I hope this working group will do it. And some additional comments. Yeah, and before we actually go to additional comments, any questions from you?
Not from me.
Just and the test question, like, is there anything that you learned that you didn't know that we do?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of you, like any of you, one of you. Both of you.
No.
Yes. A lot
Okay.
about the tweets. I didn't know about that.
Okay, perfect.
I didn't know we use Buffer as well. That's why I said thumbs up. I like Buffer.
Yeah. I'm skeptical about this automation anyway, because I don't know if it's because just a small side comment. Because the thing is that we see that our Twitter followers do not grow really quickly, and we don't have many interactions. And I'm sometimes afraid, and because that's something what I also do sometimes as a user of X, is that if there's too much information from some channel, I just mute. I follow them, but I mute them for some period of time. So I'm thinking if it's positive that we over communicate over X and do this post, for example, about releases, or meetings, because sometimes there's a lot of tweets a daily. I'm not sure if it's good or it's actually very bad. So that's something that we should definitely
Okay.
measure.
From a user perspective, I would say the release tweet is kind of always too much. Like I get it every second. I'm like, oh, why do we have to see this every time? But for the recurring tweets, I think that's fine. And the meeting schedule, that's fine as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like the release tweets, right? It happens maybe when we make pull requests much. That's where they go out.
Mm.
But for the meeting schedule, it's maybe like once or twice in a week. Then the recurring tweets is like once every Saturday, and the one for every month. That is
Mm,
it. So maybe we might need to adjust the release tweets. But so
yeah.
far, I think the automation is still good as it is.
Okay. Okay. Then so my comments in general. So like we're gonna coordinate and do a lot of improvements. And let's say we decide that we should not do this release automation, right? Because we tweet about every major or release candidate, and it's a lot. And let's say we decide to stop tweeting about it. Now, how do we know it works? How do we know it was a good direction? How do we know it's not actually a bad direction? You know what I mean? So basically, um, what I mean by first we need metrics cleanup and document first is that document first is, I think it's pretty obvious. Like we need to have it documented, everything we do, so it's transparent for everyone. But I mean by metrics and cleanup, I think that we first need to, and that's probably something we should expect from the person we will hire for the budget. So this person is kind of setting up and documenting clearly like what metrics we're following and how to check them. For example, in Google Analytics, we can export, we can even prepare reports that go to some email. With Twitter, I'm not sure because we're using the free account, so probably there are some limits. But basically, we should do some metric first. Let's say how many impressions or how many followers we get a month. Then we can stop doing something, like let's say stop tweeting releases. And after a month, we can check, metrics again and see like, hey, we got actually more impressions than when we had so many release tweets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like a comparison.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise, we're gonna be like just acting by like on the decisions that are like, hey, how I feel about X, let's improve
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mhm.
But if it's really because in the end, it's not about us; it's about the community.
Yeah.
Um, there was, and I'm really curious about what you think because there was one of the comments was about like the strategy, the objectives. Like that one thing is like marketing for the about what community does, marketing to promote the community that we built here, and the other thing is marketing to promote AsyncAPI as a tool without mentioning the community, just purely as a technology and a tool. And that's something that we have to, I think, define. And not sure, and I'm super curious about what you think because, in my opinion, it's the border between two. It's really thin. It's really hard to decide when you go into details. It's really hard to decide like what you should pick. I think in the end we're gonna have to do both, um, because in the end the community members are also end users.
Mhm.
So like what do you think? Do we have to like from the very beginning have this like clear definition or rather explore first and see?
I think let's explore first and see. Like you said, we have the Async API tooling and whatever side, then we have the community side, of which these two are really integrated. So if we are focusing on tooling, so which means it's something like case studies, what are we using the tools for, etc. Then when it comes to the community side, maybe we are talking about conference, how the community is benefiting from what the tooling part of Async API is all about. So maybe it will be up to the marketing person to see how best this should be. But yeah, I think maybe we can just explore and see if it works, or we should just combine them from the get go. But yeah, it's worth exploring.
Maya, any
Yeah, I
points
agree
from your
with
side?
Tuli. Let's do the exploration first, then we can later decide which one to go for.
Yeah, exactly. Because I, for example, one of the cases I was thinking about, like, one examples, the recent examples we have, like, sometimes contact Tuli and ask, like, hey, let's show the V3 adoption, and let's tweet also about the not only about Async API tools that we develop at Async API organization, but let's also promote other tooling providers that they adopt V3. And for me, that's a perfect example of a marketing that serves both the community and the end user, because first we help the community of a given tooling. We expose them through our channels. We give them, like, we help them grow together with us. So it's pure community work, but also it's a end user work, because we communicate to end users like, hey, adopt V3, because all the others work towards the goal. So that's why it's like how to separate that. Um, so yeah, okay. Community first. So yeah. So that's as you said, exploration. My gut feeling is that the best is if it's community first, whatever we do. So first, don't overcalculate if it's community or end user marketing, but also community first in the way, for example, one of the things, and we can explore many others, but I like, I don't think I'm revealing any secrets, but for example, at Postman, the marketing team at Postman, they have a dedicated channel in Slack where anyone at Postman can go and ask to promote something. Like, let's say I'm going to I'm going to present at some conference, and I can go to this channel and contact marketing by dropping a message, hey, please share on social media that I'm going to represent Postman as a speaker, for example, at this conference. So, and I know that the marketing team will pick it up, and whenever there's a free time slot on social media, it's going to be shared. So it's like, it's not just that the marketing decides everything, but you can also kind of like
Obviously.
with the community work on the content as well, like easily ask for this kind of promotion. So we, especially with our spirit, like whenever we do everything community first, so I think we should keep that in mind as well, like have a pretty easy defined way, not to do this complicated things like that somebody can suggest through pull request a tweet, especially that it's just X automation, not LinkedIn and Mastodon. So yeah, we should also have it like long-term defined, like how others can actually ask for some marketing of whatever they're working on. And last but not least, closer engagement with sponsors. What I mean is that basically we, at the moment, we have different levels of sponsorship. So I'd like to check if, as a working group, we can define some incentives for the sponsors by still keeping the spirit of Async API. So basically, we at the moment we have platinum, gold, and silver. And I was thinking maybe for 2025, and it's not maybe, I'm actually actively thinking about adding an additional tier like diamond, or just extending the platinum to see basically what's the interest. And one of the benefits to provide to the best sponsors that pay the most, give them away like, hey, if you become a platinum sponsor or diamond sponsor, you can delegate whoever you want from your company to join something that I call marketing advisory board. So it's still advisory board. So it's not a group that can enforce something on us, how we do marketing. But it's, I think, pretty important board that we would achieve basically a group of people, I think usually from marketing, that would help us out with messaging and their expertise. So that's just one of the things that I think we should have a look in the future. Any comments, questions so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Wait, let me first think how I should rephrase it. So like the close engagement with the sponsors, right? So it will be only targeted for marketing only, or are we going to like expand it?
Expand to what, for example? What do you mean?
Maybe like into conferences? But yeah, maybe that will be a separate discussion or something.
I mean, you have to specify more, like to conferences in a way that in
So since they're
marketing of conferences,
delegating,
or
like maybe we have like one person from them that will come and speak to the conference. The same way, maybe like, I don't know, like to add into their, like you said, maybe you want to introduce like a diamond tie, right? Then maybe they can dedicate like one slot or one person they can send to the conference and speak. I don't know.
depends what this group will be about. I don't think they will be focused on speaking, because I think it's like, so from my experience, whenever I talk with the sponsors, there are two group of people. Sometimes the sponsor is represented by technical people. It's just like a given team in the company decides to support the project, and they are doing the due diligence inside the company to make sure that happens. So, for example, in case of IBM, it's the best and beautiful team from IBM, from event integration, that I'm in contact with. It's so I'm not in touch directly with marketing. So whenever we have conferences, etc., I always contact them, Selma or others, like, hey, we have this conference. But I never, I mean, I cannot say I never had interaction with marketing, but it's never, how to explain it? Like, basically, if the initiative did not come from marketing to sponsor us, they're not very much interested in having regular talks. And because they don't see benefit. But there are, on the other hand, companies that support us, and it's purely, and the support is coming from the marketing, product marketing. So that's with Red Hat, for example. I have direct contact with the product marketing from them, from their side. So, for example, I'll ask them whenever we decide to set up this advisory board, I'll ask them if they want to participate, if that's something interesting for them, if that would be something that would also change their decision to switch from bronze to platinum sponsor, for example, right? I lost myself. What did I want to say? Yeah. So, for example, if it's gonna be like them as in marketing, they're not gonna be interested in like, hey, I'll go to AsyncAPI event and speak. Rather, they will be good channel to advertise internally in their company through them, that we have CFP, of course. So them as marketing, they already cooperate with DevRel. So I'm pretty sure they will, for example, like talk to DevRel. But it's complex, like, like even with Red Hat, we don't even need this advertisement through marketing, because we already have ambassador from Red Hat, from DevRel, Ugo, who helps us a lot. So it's difficult to define. So marketing advisory board is, I would say, it's mainly to get sponsors, to involve them in the marketing, to get their expertise. But also for us, benefit is that we will then keep this regular conversation and it will make
So,
it easier for us also to renew sponsorship, to extend sponsorship. So that's what I'm looking for, like in trying different initiatives to involve people in the community. And one of the ways is that you offer some positions.
mhm.
I like that.
Yeah. But that's for later. Like let's not focus too much on it, especially that it's just my idea. Uh, the most important is now the next steps. Like, what shall we do now? What shall we do next? Because we know what is the current situation. We know
Mhm.
that we want to hire someone. I think we all agree about the working group. Do any of you disagree about
Mhm.
it?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we can, for example, at least at the meeting, all of us can agree that we want to have a working group, and we want to have it
Yes.
like the other working groups that are created, right? So we regularly meet, we have a
Mhm.
goal, etc.
Mhm.
Mm, would you be interested in becoming members of those, or rather help from time to time, just jump some meetings?
Yeah, I don't mind with helping because since I'm also like part of
Yeah.
some kind of part of marketing, like so definitely I'll be there to help from time to time. Yeah.
Um, so I would say, I mean, um, so one thing is to open a pull request with the working group,
Mm-hmm.
at least draft with a proposal like what we want to have. Um, we don't have to finalize it quickly, especially that it has to go through voting. I think that
Mm-hmm.
once we have a pull request, we can try to advertise the creation of working group again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we can then again contact some sponsors or potential sponsors like Georgia and others if they would like to join as regular um, members of
Mm-hmm.
the working groups.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, find someone who can document whatever I described with this, because that I think it all should be this part should be the current state situation should be documented.
Mm-hmm.
And the most complicated is hiring. How to how to do it? Because with hiring, like it was easy for me when we did hiring of community manager when we hired you to lead because I basically was looking for replacement for me, so it was easy for me to
Mm-hmm.
decide to like define the job description. Um, so it was easy to do any recruitment or any research. Um, but I'm not really. I don't feel like a marketing expert in, at all. So for me, it's like hard to define actually even the basics, like who you're looking for, who, um, if we need someone who's super experienced, especially with this budget, if we can afford,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, or we need someone who's more like closer to the community and already knows the community and they would like to grow into this role. Like for example, it was with you, Tuli. Like you were not community manager before,
Mm-hmm.
but we knew that you have uh, the skills needed to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, any ideas? How we should?
Okay, so what we have, like the current state, right? Since we already know what we want, like to improve, we want it can start by there. Then I don't know. I'm not a marketing expert, but I'm sure Fran can also help here because most of the marketing stuff I also had to learn a few things from him. So But like the starting point, like the job description, like you said, for you it was easy. You had already the goals that needed to be achieved. So I just had to like come in through the role. So it might be the same with here. We know what we want to improve, where can the marketing person fit in, so we can take it from there as the job description. Then in deciding, I think it'll be best like to take somebody who really knows the community inside out and let them grow inside the role than recruiting somebody from outside. Yes, there might be an advantage to take someone who has like the experience, but now they need to fit in into the Async API culture and get to know what the community is all about, of which not a lot of people like do tend to integrate well. On the other hand, having somebody from the community and growing into the role, it can be easy, but then we need somebody who will like help out in terms of all the marketing, the metrics, etc. So yeah, we need to like weigh on those two, the pros and the cons, and see. But yeah, I think it'll be best to get somebody from the community. I mean, that's my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. For me not to be biased, I think it's better we have like a voting to either decide if you want to hire someone from outside or someone in the community.
I like what you totally said. Like in the end, we know we're not starting from scratch.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of stuff established. Um, the only challenging I think would be we never did analytics in a more regular and more, let's say, professional way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So whoever we pick is not much. Maybe we're not even looking for marketing expert. Uh, Maybe we're actually, as you said, like looking for someone who's already fit in the community
Mm-hmm.
and is open to sometimes like to grow and do stuff that never did before. Like I'm not sure how many people in our
Mm-hmm.
community is experienced with doing analytics in Google Analytics or grabbing data from Twitter. In the past, I was just doing it, and now it's usually, but we never like did it
Mm-hmm.
in a regular
Like
professional
regularly.
manner, right?
Mhm. Because the
Um,
only time we do like dive in deep into the analytics is when it's the end of the year. Like, well, okay, I know I'm taking this week off to really like write the blog. That's the only time we get to analyze the whole data, of which is something that we need to do on a regular basis. And like you said, the only thing that we have right now is we both don't have the time. I don't have the time like to constantly check the marketing. So it will be best we have somebody who really knows Async API business, then we can take it from there. Then for us to know, okay, we have a marketing expert, but now they need to integrate into the Async API business, then I don't know. But like I said, it's only my opinion.
yeah, yeah. Okay, then. So so just to summarize, so we have like first things first. We anyway want to have working
Mhm.
group. Um,
Yes.
so we need someone to open a pull request at this draft with the basics in it. Um, about like what's the what's the name, what's the point, um,
Mm-hmm.
and the founding members. Once we have the pull request, I can do some communication with also sponsors. Maybe they want to send someone from marketing to the working group. So that's one thing. And the other thing I would say the to do is to basically summarize that we the outcome of the meeting is the working group setup, and the other one is to hire someone who can work on these things on regular basis. And I mean, we don't make decisions on the meetings, but I think we can recommend what we discussed. Of course, it's a subject for discussion. And I share I share your opinion about someone from the community, especially that I think you also heard what I said at the beginning, like with my other comments, that we anyway should do it community first, and the best will be someone who's experienced already. So that would be one requirement, I understand, right? So we want to hire someone to work full time on the topic. And the advantage is if somebody is already active and knows basically the community. And let's say active in the way that it's public figure. However, that sounds, public figure. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, because there can be someone who's considering to be part of community, but not really active, and like maybe some maintainer somewhere in the repo, but they're not publicly recognized. Let's say that's what I mean. Publicly recognized is maybe not also the best phrase.
Actively in the community.
Active
Someone
in the
who's
community.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Actively public figure.
Active public figure. Let me, you know what? Let me, because we still have 10 minutes. So can you see my screen again?
Yeah.
So let's just, let's together write it down. So to do is open a draft PR in about setup of the working. Or such as.
Actually, I think we have this AI that summarizes our meeting. Is it that we don't use it again, or what's wrong?
Sorry.
I said I think we have this atom or something.
No, she means they want to summarize the meeting.
Oh yeah. But I didn't start it. It's
no.
But it's anyway. I'm not really. I don't recommend Fathom summarize the meetings. And anyway, I just want to focus on to do. Yeah, Fathom. Like, not sure if you had a chance to read Fathom's updates from the meetings. They were pretty strange.
I think we have
So
a comment. We have a
sorry?
comment on YouTube. I'm saying we have a comment on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah, from Olosu Olomide. He said, I suggest hiring someone who knows more about marketing and support the person with someone from the community.
yeah. I mean, if we support them with like, and it's it actually in the end it depends about this. It really depends who will have in the working group. Because if we will manage to have marketing people with experience from different companies, then we don't really need someone to be super advanced in marketing. We just need someone who's actually motivated. That would be like motivated to do this, to learn stuff, and probably do some online learning, whatever, proactively. So that's why I'm saying already active in community, because then we know it's person
Mm-hmm.
with like not sure if we can say it already, like with Async API Spirit or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why just to answer the question in YouTube, that's why it's more important to have someone who's like super motivated than fresh, but with
Mm-hmm.
just with the skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it still goes back to what I was saying. Like, we might get, it's easier for us to get like expertise where in marketing. But even if we were to get someone who's from outside, still, they still need to know what Async API business is all about. So, even if we get like the marketing experts like Georgia and anybody from marketing from our sponsors, it will be easier for somebody from the community who already knows what Async API is all about to collaborate with somebody from marketing. So yeah, I think, but yeah, the decision doesn't lie with us. The community will have to vote to see, but definitely I'm sure they will vote for somebody they know that will take care of the community first. So yeah.
Okay, does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
As we expect basically working group to have experts, so we need
Mm-hmm.
someone more motivated. Yeah.
Mm.
And I would say the requirement is that, or part of recruitment should be that we provide like a requirement that, let's say, as a part of recruitment, you're required to maybe do some basic metrics
Mm-hmm.
um, with whatever. I don't know yet with what. I think the easiest is Google Analytics, because with Google Analytics we can give access to anyone
Mm-hmm.
easily. So maybe that would be part of the recruitment plan, because I think metrics would be very much, at least my gut feeling is that much metrics will play important role in the job,
Mm-hmm.
and not many of us will have time to do it. So it's gonna probably be done by the hired person. So we need
Mm-hmm.
to see how this person is, if this person is able to go through some online guides, read them, and then execute them basically in Google Analytics. And we can, and I think we have really simple examples, like for example, this contextual help, this example, like, so have a metric, um, we could try to, but not now, but let's just imagine hey, as a recruitment, you have to provide a metric or a report that will execute every month and will tell us how many visits we had from
Mm-hmm.
um, outside to Async API, what were top links, and how much time they spent on Async API to figure out if it's actually good
Mm-hmm.
reference.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the end, we can put it, we can put Async API on Twitter and have million of visits, but if people after 3 seconds they leave the website, it's not really a good marketing. So what do you think? Like, could that be
Yes.
as a
Yeah.
recruitment job or
Also, it's
whatever?
something like marketing. What do they call it again? Oh, marketing strategy, right? Something that we did like on V3, like need to track like how many people are seeing the tweets, how many people are retweeting, all those metrics. So like maybe pay every month if they have a marketing strategy, if it's for conference, if it's newsletter, to see if the newsletter is it really working or are we just wasting time? But yeah, some of those things, what kind of tweets are popping, ranking higher? Like, I mean, Twitter changes a lot, like constantly. The last time the links were not performing well, we don't know now. Like I said, sometimes I don't really have the time to track all these trends. So if we do
Yeah.
have a marketing person who's focused on that, then we'll know
Yeah.
what to improve, what to ditch. Yeah.
The only problem with that will be is that I'm not sure if you'll be able to give a, in theory, a stranger access to our
Mm-hmm.
Twitter to do the analytics.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably
Mm-hmm.
have to be done on their own account or something. You know what I mean? Like, because like in Google
Yeah.
Analytics, we can give access to anyone. Because
Mm-hmm.
in the end, it's public resource, community resource, so
Mm-hmm.
anybody can access it and read the content. Not sure about Twitter. That's something to validate.
Later. Mm-hmm.
But so I would not worry much about it. That we don't have to define it now. So I would say just
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
basically um, require that someone showcases some basic metrics for marketing and details to be defined, right? And to not keep you longer, it's 1 hour after the meeting. So, and whatever else we think makes sense. Let's say, so let's put it as a comment. Now, the most important, any volunteers to do the pull request?
I would love to do that. I've forgotten how to open a
Uh,
quick pull request. I want to do it.
Oh,
oh.
that was easy. Thank you, Maya. And the kind of how to message it, how to because this can be done independently
Mm-hmm.
and this as a separate like not probably as a discussion or whatever. We can maybe can just continue in the existing discussion.
Yes. And the current discussion is.
Yeah. W- Would you be truly up for it? And I then focus on contacting the sponsors and marketing people from sponsors.
Okay, no problem. I'll just update everything on it.
So so Maya will work on the pull request. I will work. I will contact marketing folks. And Tuli will work on this. And then, so before we finish, there's another question in YouTube, also from also, can someone into data analysis apply?
Mm.
I mean, there is no,
Yes.
in this, I
There
don't
is
think in
no.
this job description, we care much about
Mm-hmm. About skills.
background.
Analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Of course, the best would be someone who's active in the community and is marketing expert,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I don't know such person. So then we open the door for anyone. Yeah. But yeah, I think we have it. So we draft PR about working group. Um, and then we like whoever is interested will work on the pull request to suggest the descriptions, etc. changes. So we work together
Mm-hmm.
on the definition of the working group. Once that's done, I'm gonna contact once the PR is created, I'm gonna contact the sponsors and marketing people. And here Tuli basically will update the existing marketing discussion with the recommendations from this meeting that related to hiring the person. Uh, and let's continue there. And yeah, for others watching the recording, uh, you see the discussion link here, and I can also paste it in the. No, I cannot paste it in YouTube because I'm watching it on not logged in account, whatever. So yeah, but yeah, you see this discussion in the recording. So just go to the discussion and we're gonna update it. Okay. Any final questions? Any final comments?
No, I think we covered the bases.
Yeah. Okay. No, Maya, from your side, nothing else. That's it.
No, nothing.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.